The answer to every riddle lies within the heart of the Shadow Lord.
The Shadow Lord? You've been on his side this whole time?
Welcome back to Taro News Network with me, the reporter. Today we'll be looking at an interesting piece of Taroverse lore today in the form of the gods and deities of the series. What they did, how they came to be, and basically a general summary of what they are. Individual videos for some of them might be made in the future if the viewer request is high enough. I'll be organizing this video from weakest deities to most powerful based on the feats that are known of these deities. Note that not everything in this video will be covering every single fact of each god. We'll be just giving a general overview of each god's sphere of influence, their powers, abilities, and their importance in the series. So without further ado, let's introduce our first deities, the Intoners.
And as a result, mankind enjoyed an age of sweet reverie, basking in the newfound light and
Hold on, my beloved sisters. I'm coming to kill you all.
The Intoners, arguably the most famous gods on this list, were lesser deities actually compared to other gods. The first Intoners appeared in year 998 after Zero. The first Intoner was infected by a flower on her deathbed and attempted to take her own life afterwards. As a defense mechanism to prevent itself from being destroyed, the flower split Zero's powers into 5 pieces. Zero's sisters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The Intoners were hailed as goddesses for liberating Midgard and the rest of the world from the evils of the Lord of the Lands, tyrannical rulers of Midgard and the rest of the world. However true and virtuous their original intentions were, however, their true purpose was to be tools of the higher gods as a means to destroy humanity. In canon ending E of Drakengard 3, the Intoners meet a grisly end at Zero's hand, before she herself is killed in surprise by Brother One. As an Intoner, they were capable of harnessing magic through the power of their song, which allowed them to manipulate life and death, creating shields of magic and manipulate the minds of others. The Intoners also possessed very impressive regen abilities, allowing them to heal from any wound except from those inflicted by a dragon, their only weakness. Now, to the next god.
Huh? Why not? Are you gonna pack for me?
No, I'm gonna kill you.
A caged bird cannot be free, even if it flees the cage. A bird without freedom has no place in the skies.
You never did make any damn.
The Grim Reaper, not to be confused with specters, which are common aerial enemies seen in Drakengard 3 and Drakengard 1, was the god of death. It appeared only once, really, in Drakengard 2, when, previously to the game's events, it is learned that, for reasons unknown, it decided to make a pact with former Knight of the Seals, Lieutenant Yurik. The price of making a pact with the god of death, kind of paradoxically, costed Yurik the ability to die. But, however, when Yurik's body was fatally wounded by Kaim during the final battle against Kaim and Noe, the Grim Reaper briefly took control of his lifeless body before deciding to leave the battle altogether. Unlike other pacts, due to it being a god of course, it was incapable of dying along with its pact partner when it left the body.
Now is the time to feel the love of the gods. A deep love. A great love.
A love powerful and formidable. A love that crushes like a mace. La 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 la.
Oof, that's gotta hurt. Well, that brings us nicely into the next gods on our list, the Watchers. The Watchers, beings that are similar to the Intoners in the fact that they were lesser gods as well, created by the true gods as another scheme of wiping out humanity once and for all. You can see the Queen Beast in the back there. Led by the terrifying, monstrous behemoth, the Queen Beast, they corrupted a young girl named Mana, the one you saw earlier, into helping them start a war among mortals, with the purpose of destroying all the seals that otherwise kept the world afloat, and kept them from entering Midgard. A video on the Union Empire War and the seal system will be coming eventually, so don't worry. They do succeed in their evasion to the Queen Beast, and in her final battle with Cain and Angelus is teleported to the world of Nier, circa 2004, where she attempts to unleash her song on the world, but is countered and defeated by the duo that is Cain and Angelus. The Japanese government thanks them by, bombing them with missiles. Though given that the Watchers appear in Drakengard 2, it is unclear if the Queen Beast and her minions are truly capable of dying, or if their physical shells just wither away. They are behind the red eye disease from Drakengard and still have a clear presence in Automata, as red eye disease is confirmed to be another word for just the logic virus that we see over and over again affecting the androids. What this has to do with the gods as of now, or the Watchers, is unknown, but it's very clear they still have a presence there. A little known fact about the Watchers is that they make an appearance in Drakengard 3 in the form of daemons, which most people don't know, that the intoners are able to summon. Watchers, unlike popular belief, do not inherently all look like giant, flying, bald, ugly babies. They can take many different forms, including giant spiders, a living castle, a bunch of zombies, you name it, they can do it. Going back to Automata though for a moment, it is clear that the machines, or at the very least, the highest levels of machine intelligence of the Red Girls, Adam and Eve, are very aware of the Watchers' existence, or at least the cult of the Watchers. As all Automata fans know probably by now, is that midway through the game of Route A, when Eve goes berserk after the death of Adam, his tattoos on his chest form the symbol of the cult of the Watchers, a group that was led by that little girl Mana and responsible for the worshipping and finally freeing of the Watchers. And so, before we move on to the next god in this list, you'll see behind us that the Queen Beast has just died and her body is crumbling. Another little known fact is that her ashes, her material, is what causes white chlorination syndrome, yet another disease that infects humans. And this disease, well, we'll get to that when we get to the greater gods, shall we? Just know that the Watchers have been a very key god in this series. So, enjoy the little bit of video here, and we'll get to the next one shortly. The Black Flower, also known by its more common term, the Flower, is a mysterious entity seen in Utahime 5, the manga. I'm sorry I can't get the pictures here for you, which features the young Intoner sisters in the early days of their adventuring in Midgard. Not much is known about the entity, except that it was sealed inside of Mercia's Gate, a mysterious and locked-off gate that was sealed by a mysterious and unknown individual. In Dragon Dragoon 3, side story, it is seen again sealed in the gate. However, a part of the entity escapes and would become known as the entity known as the Flower, which would later infect Zero. Back in Hudahime 5, though, the entity was able to help save the lives of some of the Intoners, even from its captivity, controlling them and destroying their individuality, as the Flower would do later in Ending D, and is only stopped by the efforts of Sister One, and is finally driven back by Zero and Michael. Truly a duo. At the end of Drakengard 3, the being, the Flower, as you can see in the background here, finally overpowers the Intoners and becomes a giant monster set to destroy reality. However, Michael is able to counter its song, and with the help of a cord, is able to seal it away. This segues nicely into the two most recent additions into the god list, Anki and Gishin. These are a pair of entities that take the appearance of dolls that rule over the library, a sort of afterlife from the game Xeno Elise, which is in the same multiverse as the other games. According to Accord, who became stranded there after the events of Drakengard 3 ending D, the library is the closest thing to an afterlife the multiverse has, and the two dolls own it. Anki and Gishin, who are able to completely fodderize universe-level characters like Accord and the Intoners, has a serious cruel streak, and they constantly torment and taunt the protagonists of those games, knowing that if they want to revive the realities, they must kill their comrades. Not much is known of their origins or why they even created the library, but they are extremely powerful, casually breaking the fourth wall, as you can see here, and seeing the multiverse as a fictional storybook and fairy tales. And on to the final gods of our list, the true gods. Obviously, we have never seen them in any game, and because of that, we know scarcely anything of them. In fact, the footage you'll see behind them is really the most direct thing we'll ever see from them, and it really isn't them, it's really the Watcher's dust that you see, but it's also white chlorination syndrome, and they created the Watchers. It's confusing. Regardless, they created the multiverse and everything in it, everything of course except humans, whom they want to destroy due to their unpredictable nature. They view it as offensive, they want to create, and they have created elaborate schemes in order to wipe the humans out, such as the Flower scheme and the Watcher scheme. Both, well, we already discussed how that ended. It is unknown if they were responsible for the destruction of the realities that the protagonists of Xeno Elise come from, but it is known that they were responsible for white chlorination syndrome, a disease that ravaged humanity in Nier, as you can see in the footage behind me, which brought infected humans to the god, or gods, and forced them into a choice: make a pact with the god and become a part of their legion, or refuse and turn to salt and die. So there you have it, a breakdown of all known gods and deities of the Taroverse. I love making these videos, so why not share, subscribe, and comment for more lore videos and similar content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And until then, enjoy the end footage. Oh, and one more thing. If you guys want to see comment of your choosing, don't forget to make a comment telling me what you want me to cover, and of course, any questions, comments, or concerns. That'll be all, folks.